What is up, guys? In today's video we will be looking at how to craft beautiful slideshows with the use of Flickity, so you guys can build something like this in the future. If you actually want to use this exact slideshow in your theme, the code will be included in the description below. So let's get right to it. This is the Flickity homepage, as you guys can see. This is where you're going to have a look at all the options. You guys can use the API, the events, the extras, and whatnot, and the styling, of course, which is quite important. So let's see what's actually in here. As you can see, the styling. We have some live examples, which we can then edit on CodePen, which is quite nice and quite convenient. So, like a bunch of things, previous next buttons we can edit. Page dots, carousel, and then we have the options. Draggable false, you can drag it. True, you can drag it. Free scroll. It doesn't just stop on its in every slide, it scrolls free. And so on and so forward. So guys, let's get right to it. This is the Flickity homepage, as you guys can see. The link will be in the description below. First things first, we're gonna go ahead and grab this file and add it to our theme. Hope you guys can see well. All right, I'm gonna go edit code. From there on, we're gonna go in the assets. We're gonna create a new asset, create a blank file, a JS file, and we're gonna name it exactly as it is here, because I'm very bad when it comes down to names. We're going to remove the dot, we don't need that. So now we have the file, and we're going to do Control A on Windows, Command A on Mac, and then copy, paste it in here. I'm not going to format it, and I'm going to save it. And then I'm also going to add the flickity.css file. So, done. Which is here, and I'm gonna just copy everything out of it, paste it right here, and there's that. And then let's start creating, right? Before I get to it, let's have a look at what options we have. As you can see, there's a bunch of them here. Free scroll, pretty cool. Wrap around, backwards and forwards, 1, 2 to 5. Group cells, this is great for collections maybe. Featured collection would be a great use case for this. Autoplay is quite nice. And whatnot. You guys can have a look on everything down in the description below and check everything out for yourselves. So we're gonna start creating a featured collection in this one, just so you guys can get the hang of it, how it works, what it does, and whatnot, right? So let's name it featured-collection-custom, because a featured collection already exists actually. So let's create it, and let's name it Flickity slider. It's gonna take a collection with the ID call, I guess, for collection, and the label is gonna be collection. Quite simple. We actually don't need a different setting for the time being, but we should also do presets. It's blocks, sections everywhere, sorry. And what we then need in here is just a name would be fine. Flickity slider. I can then format this and save it, and this works great. And what we're gonna do now is, first things first, we're gonna start with linking both our files that we just added on the assets. So first things first, the script has a source, and it's named Flickity, as you can see on the top, pkgd.min.js, and we're gonna defer this, and we're also gonna get the style sheet, which I see has done a double.css. I'm gonna change this real quick. This is a asset URL, same as the script, so we have to add this as well. Alrighty, it doesn't exist, of course, because we named it the wrong way, that's why. So let's remove this part, rename file, and then we should be good to go. Perfect. So now this should work perfectly. And let's start with creating a carousel, actually. Gonna give it the class carousel. And we're gonna just grab the easiest thing we can grab here. Let's go like those. We're gonna get to this in a bit later, not now. So we have those, and then we're gonna add some styling like in the example, and we're gonna check that everything works fine. That's the whole purpose at the moment. So I'm gonna just copy paste this part. We're gonna save it. This looks good. We're just missing the Flickity initialization, basically. I'm gonna do a script here, and I'm gonna just initialize Flickity here instead of here on the top, which we can also do. I'm gonna show you guys what I mean. We can do this, and this will work fine, and it's not gonna be draggable anymore. So let's actually go on the customizer, add this new section we've just created. Oh, it's right here, or not. Flickity, perfect. Oh, it's not showing, yeah. The reason it's not showing, I'm gonna show you guys, is because there's some code on Dawn where every empty div doesn't show, basically. There's a CSS class somewhere where every empty div doesn't show, div empty, right? So if that's the case, I can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now everything should show. Perfect. So as you guys can see, it's working, it's not draggable, and it's showing perfectly at the moment. All right, what we're gonna do now is actually initialize the whole thing as a script. I've wrote my own script, kind of, on how to initialize this. And the reason I did this is because on refresh, you see it stacking the images one below the other for a bit, which could be quite annoying for the most merchants out there. So what I did is I went ahead, wrote my own script that stops that problem. And it actually starts with a simple class, which is page loaded. So I'm gonna go ahead and do carousel cell when the page is loaded. Visibility is gonna be visible, and it's gonna start with visibility hidden. So perfect. And now let's initialize Flickity in here with vanilla JavaScript. I'm not going to use jQuery because it makes your theme slower, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to go vanilla JavaScript for this. So document.add event listener DOM content loaded. function, and this is how we're gonna initialize. So init Flickity as a comment, carousels is gonna be every query selector with the class .carousel, and then we're gonna for each function of those carousels create a new Flickity instance which takes this carousel and here is where we're gonna write the Flickity options actually. So let's say draggable true, and I don't know, we can do what else kind of option can we do? Let's check. We can do free scroll true as well. Should be fine. So, and now that should be working, hopefully. It's not working yet. Carousels dot for each is not a function. What did I mess up? Oh, we never close the functions properly. Whoopsie. Ah, of course, then it doesn't work. We're gonna do this for all carousel instances. And we have set it at the moment at visibility hidden, right? So that's the main reason it doesn't work yet. But trust me, stick with me, it's gonna work in a bit, and it's gonna work like a charm. So let's continue. So now we wanna add the page loaded class instance once Flickity has initialized. That's what we're gonna do here, and we're gonna grab all carousel cells. And we're gonna for each of those cells and we're just gonna add the class list of page loaded. And that's about it. Let's close everything nicely and let's refresh. And it's not working yet. Did we miss something? It's still in visibility hidden. Did we write something wrong? No errors. Page loaded is of course page dash loaded. And now it's working perfectly. As you guys can see, it's not stacking anymore, which was quite a big issue when I was working with Flickity. So now it just looks great. All right, perfect. So let's continue. As you guys can see, even the settings we've set for Flickity work. Free scroll is there. We can maybe check with one more, maybe wrap around. I always find quite nice. And see if it actually works properly. And it does, right? So it's perfect. All right, so now what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do the same thing for a collection. So we're gonna create our own kind of instance of a feature collection, and we're gonna start from right here. we're gonna assign ourselves the products, which are gonna be collections section.settings.call products, and we're just gonna get the first 10 out of it. This is a great way to access the products of the collection you've set down here, and that's what we're doing here. We're accessing that, and then we're gonna for loop that array. So perfect. And we're gonna get the carousel cell in here. So what I'm gonna do next is remove the numbers. We don't need this, we don't need the background. We're gonna set height to auto. We're gonna remove width completely for now. I don't think we're gonna need it. And what we're gonna do is, let's do this properly. We don't need this part. So first things first, we're gonna wrap the whole thing in an href. So this is gonna be product.url. So people can click on the products themselves. And then we're gonna just access the page, the image, I'm sorry, for that given product each time, which we're gonna do like product.featured image is gonna be the first one, and that's an image URL, which we have to use. Maybe we set it to 300 to 300. I think that should be better. So, and of course, never forget the old, that's quite important for SEO. I've worked with some big companies, it's very important to keep an alt text, which can just be the product title, right? That's more than enough. Then we're gonna add the product title, which we're gonna do like this. And then we're gonna add the price, which could be a p tag. And we can do like this, and with a filter money to show the currency properly and actually display as money. So then I see one thing I don't like yet. Maybe we can drop the div inside the href so the whole thing can be clicked. Now we're gonna save. It didn't like something. I have two hrefs. That's what I didn't like. So now it should be working quite well. Let's have a look, shall we? All right, let's add the automated collection. Let's save it. There we go. And we can see all the products in here. Right? This works quite well. So that would be all on how to create a new featured collection using Flickity, guys. Let me now get right to it and show you guys what you can do with this once you've mastered it. So I've built this beautiful section, which it's heavily customized, but it's what you can, guys, create once you've mastered Flickity or any given library, right? There is not just Flickity, let's be honest. There is Slick Slide is perfect. Swiper Slider, I've seen a bunch of big agencies actually use when it comes down to Shopify, which also works great. And there's Flickity. I just prefer Flickity over the rest. It's personal preference. Use what you're comfortable with and what you can actually work with. So let's see what this looks like on the customizer. Let's have a look. I've made quite a bunch of settings and set a bunch of settings for you guys, so you can just use it out of the box as it is, hopefully. You can enable, disable the slider, keep the animation or remove it. and then you can just choose the product. If you choose the picture, it's gonna use this picture. It has to be a PNG file and it has to be transparent. So I would recommend doing that. And for a background color, you can just create a gradient on cssgradient.io and make your own gradient, and then copy paste this code like this and just paste it here. As you can see, this is the exact code I used for this slide, and then it should work perfectly, right? So that would be it for today. If you guys have any questions or need help and assistance with this exact instance or any other Flickity instance in that matter, drop me a message. I'm going to leave my email down below and let me know. If you like this video, like this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. If you like this video, like the video, guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe. If you have any questions regarding Flickity or this exact instance of the slideshow I just showed you, make sure to either drop me an email, I will have my email down below, or just drop a comment. See you guys in the next one. Peace.